Welcome to the video from initiallife.com. This video I want to show you how you can save programs, performances and sequences on the multi-poly so that you can reuse some of your components. It's a bit confusing when you first get it. What's the difference between the program, what's the performance, and the building blocks essentially. I'm going to show you a bit about how these building blocks all fit together to make your own sounds. So I'm going to use the editor to help with this as well. So the multi-poly can have 4 layers. So each of those layers is made up of 4 oscillators and 2 filters. So if you've got a complex sound like this one, when you've got a complex sound like that, it's actually made up of 4 layers. But then you can get a simple sound like a lead sound. And that's made up of 1 layer. So we can reuse these layers and create performances out of them. And so when you switch through, you scroll through the presets or you go through the list on here, you're going through performances. So performance can be made up of multiple layers and then you can save them. So let me start at the beginning. I'm going to go with an initialized patch. So that's the basic patch. So we could do some sound design. We could set up some of the waveforms on here. Start getting our envelopes done. So I could I could start designing the sound. So I can start designing my sound. So let's say that I've just programmed then. I quite like that sound. I'm just going to apply some effects to it. There we go. So I can save that now. Now, if I save it up here at the top level, that's saving it as a performance. So that's that single layer and nothing else, but that's that sound. So let me do that. That's how you would normally do it. So I can just call this demo sound. Okay, so I've just saved that. There's my demo sound. Now you notice down here at the layer level, I have got the option to save it as well. So the idea behind this is that you can load additional layers and build up a more complex program. So let me just save that one. Okay, so I've saved that demo layer. And I've got my demo performance. So when I'm switching through, I'll get my performance. So the way it works with layers, I can have another layer now. Let's just turn that off for a sec. On this other layer here, I can have a different sound. So maybe I'll choose a vocal type sound. Something like that. Let's make it a more percussive sound so we can tell the difference in the other layer. Okay. So there I've created another sound now. So if I turn that layer back on, you should hear both. And if I go back to my first layer, which I'm on there, and if I just soften that envelope a bit so we can hear the difference. So you can hear that initial attack from layer B and then the string from layer A. So let me save that now. So I've now created a performance with 2 layers in there. So I'm going to save my demo layer, which is that's the string type one. And then I've got this other layer which I haven't saved. And that's the one that do the percussive sound. If I switch sounds, and then let's switch back to that one. So it's my demo sound one. Everything is as it was. those layers are still there. So even though I didn't save that individual layer, because I saved the performance, it's there. But I can save that. Let's call this demo 2. Okay. I've saved that layer now. So I've saved my individual layers and I've saved the performance that holds those layers. But what is really clever on this is I can create a new performance. So back to an initial program. Maybe I make some new sound up. Okay, so I've got a new sound on there. And maybe I think, that string sound would actually go well with this. So I can go to my layer B and I can have a look for that one. So if I go to demo, there you'll see my demo layer. There's the second one we created, but I'll use the first one. Turn that on. We should hear the string and the sound I've already created, which is exactly what we've got. Now, it may be that this string layer, I want to do a bit of modification. I wanted to add a bit of a high sawtooth to it. Hello. Okay, so, and I've got my resonant synth sound that's on top of that. So I can save that. Let's call it demo 2. Let's call it second demo. Okay, so I've saved that now. Now, remember, I modified the string sound by adding these other layers on this layer B, but I haven't saved anything else. So I just saved that. So I've got my second demo there. If I go back to my demo sound, that string sound should be still there, unaltered. There it is. If I go back to demo 2, there it is. So by saving, you save everything at the performance level, which sits above the layers. And if you start making adjustments at this layer level, it doesn't affect everything else that you've already done. So that's what's really interesting with this is some of the synths you can create kind of combis and things like that, but they're a combi of the programs. And if you alter the initial program, it changes that program wherever it's used in any other combis. On the multipolar, the way it works is it's tied up to that top level. So only if I save it and overwrite it, the other one, save that layer, would it make that change. So in fact, what I would probably do is I know I've made a change to it, so I can call it demo layer 2 as well and save that for future. So I could do it is add in another layer now. So there you go. I've just added another layer, enable that. So now I'm reusing a layer that I've already created a while ago. And even if I make any changes to this synth kick snare sound, it's not going to change anything else that I've done in the past. So it's a really good way of reusing sounds and layers and not messing everything that you've done already. So that's good. So I've got that concept now. I've got performances and layers. There are some other things that you could do for saving as well. So let's have a look at sequencing and how we can save sequences. So let me get another layer. So let's load a layer here. Right. So here's a layer that I created for a Tangerine Dream type track. So you can hear it's quite a complex one. It's got some pitch, it's got some timing, and the sequence. So you can see that that's being I think I got the transpose being controlled by step C. So when it gets to these steps, it uploads the transpose. There's a few different things I've done. I've got that pitch sequence as well. So I've loaded that in. I can make some changes to this. I won't affect the other sequence where I've used this. I can save it within the demo. But it could be that sequence is quite a good template to use for other things with different sounds, say. So if I turn the sequence off, you can hear I've created a basic sound with there. But let's say I go to another layer, turn the other layer off. let's create a sound. Maybe I should go with more digital type sound. There we go, a digital sound and a sawtooth. And I'm making a bit of attack on it. So there's my pluck type sound. Let's just put a bit of effects on there. That's okay. Now I want that sequence that I created earlier on. Let me just drop that release time down. So that's how I want to use the sequence that I created earlier on. Now, if I loaded the layer in, it would overwrite this sound. So what I actually need to do is just save that sequence. So go back to where my sequence was. There you can see it. So this is the sequence I want to save, but I don't want to save all that bit. So all I need to do is I can save this and call it demo sequence. Save that. Okay, so save the sequence now. So if I go back to my sound, right sound there, I can go to here, I can look, and there's all these sequences already exist that code provide, or I can load in the one I just did, which is that demo one, not named correctly. There we go. So that's actually now using that sequence, or that sequence is loaded in. You can hear the pitch being affected, but these other things aren't doing anything because I haven't told them to do anything, because I only loaded the sequence in. But I can quickly set that up. So I want my filter to be triggered by the step pulse and the amp envelope. So there you go, I've got it now. And I could say I want the resonance to be controlled by sequence C. So I've been able to reuse that sequence without affecting the sound as well. So that's another option. So that's, you've got the sequence, which sits in a layer called a program, and the program sits within performance. There are some other things you can save as well. Say around the effects. Let's play with the effects on this one. So see, there's got a lot of parameters on some of these effects. So I've played about some of those parameters. I like that. I can save that, and instead of it being called BPM tape one head, I could call it BPM tape custom. BPM tape custom. Stick it in my demo library. And that saved that. So I could reuse that effect then on other performances rather than manually having to do it each time as well. So each of these processes, these effects, you can save as well. So you can do exactly the same thing with the Kaoss. You can set all your parameters up for the physics of the Kaoss, and then you can save it. There already is all these different ones you can choose from, but you can amend them and save them as well. So you can create your own Kaoss physics and reuse those in your own programs. So I think it's all about reuse and maximizing the work that you've already done on this. So, but the way I like to think of it, you've got a performance which is made up of programs, and they're their own thing, and you're not going to mess up anything else if you change those. But you can reuse your programs, you can load your programs into your own performances to reuse those. So I always, when I'm doing my sounds, I do the work in the performance here, as you see here, with all the layers. I do all that setup, and then I save the top bit and also save these as well so that I can reuse them later. So I hope that helps. Thanks for watching this video. If you've got any suggestions for how-to videos that I should be doing, please let me know, leave a comment, and I'll see you on the next one.